Yeah. I was just like you. Yeah. Knew there was something special, knew there was something missing. I knew that feeling inside, homie, was of the spirit. And like a fish on the line, he went and drew me near it. I caught the bait and was hooked like we was going fishing. In the world they try to fill the void with carnal things. Cars, clothes, money, women, and the diamond rings. You think you need it, but what's really on the flip side? You cop the Beamer, but you empty on the inside. You buy the Gucci, buy the Louis, and you cop the Prada. You ain't hip unless you got the latest fancy product. Is this all humanity exists for? But these are the only things that make up life. It's so easy to get caught up in the programming. A little glamour's all it takes for us to get enticed. You're worth more than a treasure of the finest gold. Just as a father made you, that's what you need to know. Once upon a time, I was just like you. Getting money in this world's the only thing I knew. I wore my sins on my sleeve with some fresh Nikes too. But the Bible boy changed my view. Look, I was just like you. Once upon a time, I was just like you. Getting money in this world's the only thing I knew. I wore my sins on my sleeve with some fresh Nikes too. But the Bible boy changed my view. Look, I was just like you. The devil knows what gets us. He knows us very well. He got a whole generation caught up in a spell. He keeps the truth covered from you like a wedding veil. Knowing that the way you live in boils send you straight to hell. They say life is a party, so you should live it up. You don't need a soul, go ahead and give it up. But I'ma tell you different, tell you that they wrong. Tell you about the living God that's sitting on that throne. And send you a message through the lyrics of this very song. That you a child of Jacob, that's why they did you wrong. But your God is calling, and he sent the Son. And we can overcome the struggle through his very blood. So turn away from evil and make your way to Christ. He'll take your sins as scarlet, and then he'll make them white. Casting off the works of darkness, put on the armor of light. Renew your mind, homie, and then you know what's right. Once upon a time, I was just like you. Getting money in this world's the only thing I knew. I wore my sins on my sleeve with some fresh Nikes too. But the Bible boy changed my view. But I was just like you. Once upon a time, I was just like you. Getting money in this world's the only thing I knew. I wore my sins on my sleeve with some fresh Nikes too. But the Bible boy changed my view. But I was just like you. This ain't Kendrick, this ain't Cole, this is you and me. A brother sent to speak the truth, truthfully. The scriptures that was written, boy, I speak with fluency. The Holy Spirit filled my page with lyrics just for you to see. To break the bonds of the captives and to set them free. Or you ain't know that you were slave to the system, slave to the corporation, slaves to religion, a slave to your sins in the days that we living where the gays run parades to persuade our children. You better repent before your Shia pay this earth a visit. And you resent all the time you wasted, and all the lies you entertain, and all abominations. Wouldn't keep the law or the holy convocations. He gave us breath, he gave us life, so it's our obligations. Why would you rather chase Satan and choose to walk the road of fire and brimstone in the combination? Once upon a time, I was just like you. Getting money in this world's the only thing I knew. I wore my sins on my sleeve with some fresh Nikes too. But the Bible boy changed my view. But I was just like you. Once upon a time, I was just like you.
Shalom, my brother.
Getting money in this
We're doing a Q&A session tonight.
I wore my sins on my
Feel
sleeve
free to
with
stay in
some
with us,
fresh
man.
Nikes too. But the Bible boy changed my view. But I was just like
Yeah, me too, Philip, man. Definitely looking forward to that. Yeah, Brother Shaw, man. We're doing a Q&A session tonight, man, so make sure you stay on and join us, man. Shalom, Fixable fam. Shalom to all my peoples out on YouTube. We'd like to welcome each and every one of you to Transformation Tuesdays. Tonight, we'd like to give all praise and honor to Ahaya Bahashem Yeshaya, Roark. And for those of you not familiar with the Hebrew, that is all praise unto the Most High, in the name of Christ as well as the Holy Spirit. And once again, we'd like to welcome each and every one of you to our Transformation Tuesday, where we are transforming into the very image of the greatest Israelite that ever lived, Yeshua HaMashiach, who the world knows to be Jesus the Christ. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us tonight. We know that you could have been anywhere in the world, so due to the fact you decided to join us, we do not take your time for granted. We pray and hope that you've all had a wonderful day so far. Pray and hope that all is well with your family, and that you came in tonight with a open mind, with an open heart, and a hunger and desire for the Most High. So, Spirit said, let's go here tonight. Let's go to Matthew 5 and 6 before we get started. We're going to start out a little different than we normally do tonight. See what Brother Shaw said. Jay said something else today.
Shalom, I'll be in and out.
All right, praise, man. All praise. Appreciate you, my brother. I want to start out a little different than we normally do tonight. Let's go, before we give an understanding of what we're doing here, let's go Matthew 5 and 6, Sue. Matthew 5 and 6, let's bring that out.
Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness.
Read that again.
Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we know with everything that's going on in the world, we know that the enemy is pulling us in all types of directions, through social media, through popular culture, through the lust of the flesh and all of these different things. We're getting pulled in so many different directions to be focused on this and focused on that. But Yeshua says what?
Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness.
After righteousness for what?
For they shall be filled.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if tonight you come seeking to understand it, seeking a higher ability to see what thus says the Most High for your life, you will be filled with this righteousness. But if you come with a heart, with a mindset saying, I want to come to condemn and I want to come in and you know, and prove somebody wrong and all this, you're not going to get anything. You understand? But if you come here tonight with a mindset open to hear what thus says the Most High, you will hear from him on tonight. Secondly, let's go to 2 Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 11 chapter. I want to go here tonight because the Spirit of the Most High led me to do a post today, and I want to make sure that people understood the spirit of what I was trying to say. Because you hear oftentimes when people saying, you can't judge me, this and that, and that's not what I was talking about. I want to make sure that people understood what I was saying. You understand? When I said that, I wonder how we can use the Bible to judge other people but not ourselves. Well, I was specifically talking to those who are beating people over the head with the Bibles, but are not actually following the law themselves. And this is what I mean by that. A few weeks ago, there was a popular video that went across, whereas this guy was coming at Kurt Franklin on the streets about what he was doing. You had mixed reviews about what they felt about it, right? And I only saw one actual Israelite who addressed it from the perspective that me and Jay was talking about. Not saying that me and Jay and him is the only one that's right, but this is the only the ones that I heard say that. So I wanted to bring that out. Everybody was like, yeah, he's holding him accountable. Then some Israelites were saying, who is this Edomite trying to say to him he has no right? Hey, listen, he was speaking some true statements. But this is what I wanted to bring out. You never, in that video, at no time, me and Deke brought this out first, you never heard a mention of following the law. Not one time, right? So it's like we can find fault in other people, right, easily. But for some reason or another, it's always a difficult task for us to find something in ourselves that we need to change, right? So I wanted to make sure I made that clear today, that I wasn't playing the Christian rhetoric saying you can't judge me. That I wasn't doing that. So I don't want that to be misconstrued with that. What I'm saying is that we, as sons and daughters of the Most High God, need to make sure that we're holding ourselves twice as much as accountable than we are anybody else. 2 Corinthians 11, so let's give them that verse. First 1 Corinthians 11, verse 31.
For if we would judge ourselves...
If we would do what?
Judge ourselves.
No, we judge other people.
For if we would judge ourselves...
If we would judge the Gentiles.
If we would judge ourselves...
Right.
We should not be judged.
So what happens, ladies and gentlemen, if we use the Most High's law to judge ourselves, then, ladies and gentlemen, we won't be judged. Right? Go ahead.
But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord,
right,
that we should not be condemned with the world.
You see that? So what happens, ladies and gentlemen, there's a win-win here. If we judge ourselves, it'll keep us from being judged. But if we do find ourselves in a situation where the Most High has to judge us, then it will keep us from being judged with the rest of the world. So I wanted to go there tonight with these two verses because I don't want people to misunderstand what we're doing here from time to time, from night to night, Tuesday night to Tuesday night with Transformation Tuesdays. We are here, ladies and gentlemen, to hold each other accountable, but also to make sure that we are transforming in the image of the greatest Israelite who ever lived. And his name is Yeshua HaMashiach. Some know him to be Yeshua HaMashiach, and the world knows him as Jesus the Christ. That is the example. And without him, we are nothing. I wanted to make sure that was clear. I think someone else came in the watch party. I wanted to make sure. Shalom, good seeing you on with us tonight. Now, let's go. Let's get started on the Q&A. I know my queen just put one in. We got some very good questions tonight, so we're gonna be bouncing it out. So those who just coming on, gather your thoughts, and you got some questions, we would address those.
All right, so the first question said, the verse that says, what God put together, let no man put asunder.
Mm-hmm.
Does it mean if you got married outside of God while still in the world and have grown apart, is it okay to get divorced?
Absolutely not, God forbid. That's not what that verse is talking about, right? Absolutely not. That has nothing to do with what Hamashiach was talking about. Let's go to that verse and so to get proper understanding. That's what's that? Luke 18. And that's Luke 18. In 1 second and make sure I think that's Luke 18. Now, what I understand why there are some people who say that. Because what they're saying is that I was outside the world, I married the wrong person, so now I'm in Christ and I want to be able to be with someone who's trying to live for God. We're going to address that and go to those scriptures to give people the understanding for what to do. But since that verse was brought out, we want to make sure that that we do get proper understanding with that. 1 second, I think it's Luke 18. Hold up. A verse. I see the verses in my head. You got it, D?
I see multiple places.
Yeah.
The one they quoted, I think that's Mark 10.
You said Mark 10?
I think that's what they quoted.
Okay, yeah, Mark 10 and 9. Now, yeah, that'll do. That was Luke. He said something in Luke, but Mark 10, that'll do right there. All right, so let's go to Mark 10. And let's start right there at verse 4. Okay. Let me explain what he's talking about in verses 1 through 3. Okay. What happens is that the Pharisees, it's kind of like how these Christians do today. Every time they want to start debates about the things that the Most High be bringing out through the Israelites, they will come up with these little far-fetched, crazy scenarios, right? And then try to use that to trip someone up, right? And that can work on people who don't know the Bible, but it don't work on Israelites. And it definitely ain't working on Hamashiach, okay? So what they did was they tried to come up with a scenario of how to trip him up, saying who was going to be responsible, how many times can a man put a wife away, this and that, right? And then you go in verse 3, they was like, well, hey, man, he said we can put a wife away. We can do it for any reason. And this is how Mashiach answered that question. Now let's go to verse 5. Let's go to straight 5.
And Yeshua answered and said unto them, for the hardness of your heart, he wrote you this precept.
That was the only reason, ladies and gentlemen. The Most High wrote that precept, gave that, so that you wouldn't find women, behind some rock somewhere when some man wanted to go marry another. Right? How you see a lot of times, especially in the Gentiles. Hey, all these shows of people killing their husbands and wives, it's strictly because I wanted a divorce, I'm ready to move on. Instead of just, calling it quits. They will kill you. Right? So the Most High didn't want his children doing that, so that's the only reason why he put divorce in there. Go ahead. Verse 6.
But from the beginning of the creation, God made them male and female.
Right.
For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother,
Right.
and cleave to his wife,
Mm-hmm.
and they twain shall be one flesh.
Right.
So then they are no more twain, but one flesh.
There's no more two people is what that means, but they're one flesh. Go ahead.
What therefore God have joined together, let not man put asunder.
So what he's talking about is, in that verse, is he's talking about the order and the creation of marriage. He ain't talking about you can just do it the way you want to. No, he's telling you, listen, I said a man leave his mother and his wife, cleave to his wife, cleave his mother and father, cleave to his wife, and become one flesh. Let no man take that order asunder. We see now in America, they said two men can marry each other. They have put the most high ordinance of marriage to sunder. Right? When he says two women ain't supposed to be together, now they're letting women get married. They have put the most high together asunder. You see what I'm saying? So what they don't realize is when they use these scriptures, it's not to justify sin, it is to prevent sin. Right? So that's what he was talking about. Not giving people justification to do what they want to. It was to say whatever the Most High set in order, don't try to come with a new ordinance or some grace and try to write that off. Now, let's go to 1 Corinthians 7 and address the circumstance that this person is addressing that asked that question. If you are in a marriage, right, and you have found yourself either discovering that you're supposed to live for Christ, or more importantly, hopefully, you're finding out that you're not black, that you're not an African American, that you're from the tribe of Judah, for the nation of Israel, and that the religion of Christianity is pagan, and that it's time to walk in the law, statutes, commandments, and the holy days, and your spouse is not there and ready to accept this, Paul has given us instructions and wisdom on how to carry this thing out. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 7. So you don't go run and get a divorce now. This is the way you're supposed to do it. Right? 1 Corinthians 7. And let's go down to, let's see. Verse 10.
And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband.
Right?
But, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife.
So, right there, we see here that Paul is saying, listen, he's going back to what Christ said in Mark the 10th chapter. Let not nobody put them away. Now, for a second time, we're going to go right to that situation which we were dealing with. Go to verse 14.
For the unbelieving husband...
Now, Salaki, let's go to verse 12.
But to rest speak I, not the Lord.
Right.
If any brother have a wife that believeth not,
right,
and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away.
So if a man, you done came into the truth of who you are, and that wife does not believe in keeping the statutes, she don't believe in keeping the holy days. What did he say that last part?
But she's pleased.
Let him not
put her away.
You can't divorce her. Verse 13.
And the woman which have a husband that believeth not,
right,
and he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him.
You see that? So you cannot use this new truth and awakening as justification for divorce. Okay? Why? Verse 14.
For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife,
right,
and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband.
Mm-hmm.
Else were your children unclean, by now are they holy.
So now you have sanctified that spouse by you coming into the understanding of who you are. And your children are now covered by the blood of Yeshua. Right? But, verse 15.
But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart.
Right.
A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases.
Right.
But God have called us to peace.
Right. But this is the thing. Right? You're not supposed to create the situation, create the atmosphere, right, for them to leave. Okay, so I need to put that out there. You don't go start doing something so that you can cause a problem. Because this is the ultimate goal. Verse 16.
For what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband, or how thou or how knowest thou, O man, whether thou shalt save thy wife?
Right?
But as God hath distributed to every man, as the Lord hath called every one, so let him walk, and so ordain I in all
You
churches.
see that? You see that? They'll create the atmosphere. They'll start arguments. You do like on Why Did I Get Married when Chris Rock came home. Man, I'm tired of chicken. And just run out the house. Well, baby, I thought you liked the chicken. And then run out the house. You know what? I'm tired.
Go meet up.
Just you could go do something. Nah. Okay? You're going to be held responsible for that. Now, since we on the talk of conversation of relationships, I want to follow that up with another relationship question that I have. It's a very, very good one. I know we got a question in the inbox. We're going to get to that in a minute. But since we on the conversation of relationships, I want to go to this one because it's really, really good. It says this. Please don't laugh at me, but I feel like my relationships were a lot easier when I was in the world. Now, check it out though. Check it out what she says. She says, now that I'm trying to live for God, it seems like there's always an issue. Either we are compatible personality-wise, but are not spiritually, or he is very much so devoted to Christ, but he is either too religious or have no conversation outside of that. Now I feel like I am actually involved with a man of God that the man God has for me, but now life is getting in the way. Either it's money, family obligations, or just unforeseen circumstances that keep us from spending quality time. How do I include God in this? I mean, are there Bible verses that address my situations? He's a great man, and I know he's getting frustrated, although he will never say it. That's a good question, right? That's a real good question. I'm going to read that again, right? It says, please don't laugh at me, but I feel like my relationships were a lot easier when I was in the world. Now I'm trying to live for God. It seems like there's always an issue. Either we are compatible personality-wise, but not spiritually, or he is very much so devoted to Christ, but he is too religious or has no conversation outside of that. Now I feel like I'm actually involved with the man God has for me, but now life is getting in the way. Either it's money, family obligations, or just unforeseen circumstances that keep us from spending quality time. How do I include God in this? I mean, are there Bible verses that address my situation? He's a great man, and I know he's getting frustrated, although he will never say it. Shalom, Lisa. Shalom, Tawana. Good seeing y'all with us tonight. This is a very good question. And I want to say this first by saying this. We know that when you're doing marriage vows, one of the marriage vows that you say in that is, and what is it? So, good and bad, and to death to us part, and sickness that in health. You know what I'm saying?
Better for worse.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. For better or for worse. I think that one of the things that is a problem in life is that we are basing our relationships on the hallmark, lifetime, love story experiences, and we're not dealing with the reality of situations. And what's also causing a huge problem when it comes to us, especially in our community, the so-called black community, the so-called African-American community, is that you don't see a lot of successful marriages. You see too many single parents, right? You see too many single parents, okay? So you think that when you're in a rough spot, right, you think that is a sign that there's a problem. And a lot of times when you're in there right before things are going to get really good, because it's really, really tough and overwhelming, people throw in the towel. The number one thing that you need to have a successful relationship is to communicate. And a lot of times what happens is people don't want to have those tough conversations. I'm going to tell you the truth. Women can be fed up for weeks, right? Let's see. The lady that just sent me a message, I can't see the inbox message, okay? So you're either gonna have to send those to Judah Culture or to John David on the lessons. Okay? When they come to my inbox now, I can't see those. So you're gonna have to either send it to John David or to Judah Culture, and they will respond. I know you sent it to the inbox because you didn't want it private. You wanted it privately. I cannot respond to questions in the inbox now because I can't go out and get to it. So if you want that question addressed, you're gonna have to send it to Judah Culture on here or to John David. Okay? To their inbox, and then they will give it to me. Now, you gotta talk. You gotta communicate. Okay? You gotta be honest about what's going on, because what happens is a lot of times when women get upset, the argument that they have, it's not about what you're currently dealing with. It's about something you did 6 weeks ago. Right? It's 6 weeks ago. And you went to Burger King and she told you to get a Whopper with cheese, no onions. And they put the onions on the Whopper, and now she's blinking. And you're looking at her like, yo, what are you talking about? And has nothing to do with the onions. It was something you did 6 weeks ago. Men, on the other hand, can be mad at something and don't never say anything about it until you come home one day and that guy is gone. See, yeah. I bet Brandon on that computer down there, man. AJ, go down there and tell Brandon, please tell them don't get on the computer. Because I know that's Brandon. Let me check the email real quick. Yeah. So, that's what happens. Okay? So, communication is the key. But there is questions. There is Bible scripture that we can deal with that. Let's go to Psalms 37, Salakia. Right? Not that, babe. It's the signal. Let's go to Psalm 37. Duke's way in the background. So, I know it. Telling them that it's over and over. And it's one ear right out the other, like it don't even matter. Surprised. Psalm 30, there was only two ones. Yeah.
She's on the internet.
You said what?
I don't know if she's on the internet.
All right, Psalm 37 and Sirach 11. Psalm 37. Hold up, y'all. Give me 1 second. 1 second. One second, y'all. Come on. Lord have mercy, boy. Y'all, please excuse me, y'all. I'm trying to fix this thing, y'all. Yeah, it's gotta go out. It's a little bit right. Okay. All right, y'all. We sorry about that. Little technical difficulties, but we back now. Psalm 37 and Sirach 11. Let's start at verse 1.
Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. For they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb.
Now, you may say, what is that talking about? What that got to do with relationships? Well, that's the problem. A lot of you are getting caught up in highlight reels that you're seeing on social media. You're getting caught up in what you're seeing on these music videos and other people that you're seeing. And it's seemingly like they don't got no problems because they doing this and that. And you're trying to live for God and seem like you got problems. Right? So don't worry about what's happening so-called good for those who are not following the law, statutes, commandments. Verse 3.
Trust in the Lord and do good.
Right?
So shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed.
Right?
Delight thyself also in the Lord.
This is one of the main issues. The Most High said, delight thyself. You must carry out walking with the Most High as a delight, not as an obligation. If you find yourself just doing things because you feel like I gotta do it, you will never be in a position to receive fully from the Most High. Go ahead.
Delight thyself also in the Lord, and shall give thee the desires of thine heart.
And when you delight yourself in it, you will put your heart and your passion in it, and then you will do thus says the Lord with faith and with love, and then he will give you the desires of your heart. Verse 5.
Commit thy way unto the Lord.
Notice, a lot of us are waiting for the Most High to commit his stuff unto us before we commit to him. But he says what?
Commit thy way unto the Lord.
Commit thy way unto the Lord.
Trust also in him.
Trust also in him.
And he shall bring it to
You
pass.
see that? So if there's some things that you desire, if there's some things that you're seeking, you need to first commit to the Most High. Never allow your commitment to be to another man or to another woman more than it is for the Most High. You commit to him, you will find every other relationship in your life falling together in the right place. Now let's go to Sirach 11. Let's get some wisdom on this. Let's go to Sirach 11. And let's start there at verse 11.
There is one that laboreth and taketh pains and maketh haste, and is so much the more behind.
So there's some people, ladies and gentlemen, that's out here working. And it seems like the more they work, the more they struggle. Right? Go ahead.
Again, there is another that is slow and have need of help.
Right.
Wanting ability.
Right.
And full of poverty.
But then there's some other people out here that ain't really put up no effort. That, you know, from a visible perspective, from the outside looking in, that ain't putting up no effort. That are slow, that are slothful, that always looking for help, and stuck in poverty, nothing working out. Go ahead.
Yet the eye of the Lord looked upon him for good.
Right.
And set him up from his low estate.
You see that? You see that? Because, see, ladies and gentlemen, there's some, you know, everybody out there talking about, man, I'm just getting my grind on. I'm grinding. But you could be grinding. You could be working. You could be starting a lot of businesses. You could be here and there, got your hands and everything, and still not be doing what thus says the Most High. But then you can have a guy that's sitting over here struggling. He always needs assistance. He always going through something. But he's the one that's constantly focused on the thing that the Most High has for him. And then all of a sudden, everything works out. What are we saying here? Watch this. Verse 12. No, it's like verse 13.
And lifted up his head from misery.
Right.
So that many that saw it marveled at him.
Y'all see that? So what I'm saying to you is that people may look on the outside in like, man, I ain't never seen no pictures of you and your boo. I ain't never seen y'all flossing. Y'all can't never take the trips. Everybody else taking the trips, but what's going to happen? Read that again.
And lifted up his head from misery.
Right.
So that many that saw it marveled at him.
You see that? So you got to stay committed to this thing. Don't worry about how it look right now. Don't get caught up in your right now. Understand, know where the Most High is taking you. Watch this though. Verse 14. Verse 14.
Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord.
Right.
Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the law are of the Lord.
Right.
Love and the way of good works are from him.
You see that? So, ladies and gentlemen, you may feel as if you're out of place, but the Lord knows exactly where you are. He got you where you are for a reason. Don't lose sight of what you're doing because it don't look like he's working out. But look at what he said here, verse 17. 16, Slocky.
Error and darkness had their beginning together with sinners.
With who?
With sinners.
Right.
And evil shall wax old with them that glory therein. The gift of the Lord remaineth with the godly.
Read that again.
The gift of the Lord remaineth with the godly.
Right.
And his favor bringeth prosperity forever.
You see that? So I just wanted to give those words in scripture to encourage you. That if you stay with the Most High, communicate with your spouse, communicate with your boyfriend and girlfriend, and allow yourself to get through this dry place. I promise you, things are going to work out. It's going to work out for the better. If that person is the one that you got to always first, that's why I said commit thy ways to the Most High. Never put any other relationship in your life before the relationship with the Most High. And that man, he may be frustrated, but I can guarantee you this. If he knows the Most High spoke to him and told him that you is his wife, you is his real, he ain't going nowhere. That you can trust on. Okay? Now let's go to the one that was in there. Then we're gonna go to yours.
All right. I saw a social media post today that said that circumcision is child abuse.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
As we become more knowledgeable of the truth, we are enabled to see through the strategy traps set up to misguide us. What are a few scriptures that warn us of these attempts by the enemy, in addition to verses that give guidance on how to bypass the works of crafty counsel?
I don't mean to laugh, yo, but
Man, it's slick, man.
the devil is a crafty guy, man.
Smoking the butter.
Said circumcision is child abuse. No, taking your child to a drag queen reading time is child abuse. Okay, that's child abuse. Okay, I can go on and on, but I don't want to get my video cut off. You know what I'm saying? Talk about child abuse. God forbid. Okay, this is madness, man. Oh my God, what you got on that, Jay? I could go 1,000 places. Let's go Pacific with that. Let's get Pacific.
It's part of the law.
Yeah, I can go. Matter of fact, I know we can go first. Let's go Proverbs 28. Let's go to Proverbs 28. Let's start there. And the Spirit will lead me from there. Let's go Proverbs 28. Okay. I know the Most High will lead me from there. You already know, Sue. Let's start with that. Okay. Let's go Proverbs 28, verse 4.
They that forsake the law praise the wicked.
You see what I'm saying? That's what happens. Okay? They that forsake the Most High's law will always praise the wicked. They're going to have nothing good to say about the Most High, but everything good to say about the wicked, the evil. You know what I'm saying? All those who are living outside of the Most High. Go ahead.
But such as keep the law,
But those who are keeping the Most High's law,
contend with them.
now let's go to Isaiah 5. I know the Spirit is going to lead me when I go into that. That was going to set me in the right place. Let's go to Isaiah 5. Okay? That's what happens, right? We're pulling out the swords for this. We're going to put the swords back up. Okay? So I want to make sure everybody know, when you get to your other questions, the sword's going to go down. For this wickedness that came out with that, we're going to scrape chop it. Okay? No more, no remorse. Let's go Isaiah 5. Let's go straight to it, verse 20.
Woe unto them that call evil good.
Read it again.
Woe unto them that call evil good.
How are you going to say that the Most High said that all of his men on the sons on the 8th day that they're born must be circumcised? How are you going to call that child abuse? Read it again.
Woe unto them that call evil good. And good evil.
Oh, no, man. Take them down to the gay pride parade, man, and let them see that God is love, man.
And good evil.
Right?
That put darkness for light and light for darkness. That put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
Right?
Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes.
Read it again.
Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes.
Right?
And prudent in their own sight.
Right?
Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine and men of strong to mingle strong drink. Which justify the wicked for reward.
That's what you hear all the time when we're talking about what these so-called celebrities and these actors and all these athletes are doing. They be like, man, when they getting money, man, you just hating on them. Read it again.
Woe unto them that
verse 23. Just go straight through it.
Which justify the wicked for reward,
right,
and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him.
You see that? You see that? So that's what's going on, man. That's what's happening. They love the wickedness, right? And that's why they want to celebrate it. That's why they want to make you feel bad for doing what thus says the Most High. Okay? They wicked. That's what it all boils down to at the end of the day. They wicked. You got something deep you want to go into? Let's see, man. Let's see. It's so many in my mind right now. There's so many in my mind. Let's go.
It's plain and simple. It's part of the law. We got to keep it.
Right. Read that last part of the question again.
Since you wrote the scripture, I'm trying to think of it.
He said, in addition to verses that give guidance on how to bypass the work of crafty counsel.
Okay, let's go to Proverbs 3 then. What was you about to say, Jay?
The scripture about you hate the light because your deeds are evil.
Before you go there, go to John 3.
And then John, I couldn't really.
John 3. Yeah, 18. John 3 and 18.
He that believeth on him is not condemned.
Right, so when you believe it on Christ and what Christ says, go ahead.
But he that believeth not is condemned already.
Right.
Because he have not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And this is the condemnation.
What is the condemnation?
That light is come into the world.
So the light is coming to the world. Hamashiach is coming to the world. The Israelites are being waking back up. And now they're seeing the true gospel go forth. And they hate it. Why do they hate it?
And men love darkness.
They love darkness. Why?
Rather than light.
Mm-hmm.
Because their deeds were evil.
Why?
Because their deeds were evil.
Oh, nah, man, it's just outside of, say, common culture.
Because their deeds were evil.
Nah, we got to be politically correct.
Because their deeds were evil.
Because their deeds are evil. Okay? That's why they hate it. That's what they got the problems with it, man. Let's go to Proverbs 3. See where we get around that crafty counsel. Okay? Let's go to Proverbs 3, and then we're going to do Proverbs 4. That'll suffice that. Give him Proverbs 3, and just go straight to it, verse 5 through 8.
Trust in the Lord with all thine heart.
Right.
And lean not unto thy own understanding.
Mm-hmm.
In all thy ways acknowledge him.
Nah, sometimes.
In all thy ways acknowledge him.
Nah, just when I'm on Sunday mornings.
In all thy ways acknowledge him.
Right.
And he shall direct thy path.
Mm-hmm.
Be not wise in thy own eyes.
Right.
Fear the Lord and depart from evil.
Mm-hmm.
It shall be health to thy navel
Right.
and marrow to thy bones.
Mm-hmm. Verse 7?
That's 8.
Okay, that's good. Okay. All right, so those scriptures right there to help you. We got a plethora of scriptures. We got a whole teaching that we can go in on that if you want some specifics. Now, what do we have anything else put in there? No, Jay, you got one from the watch party.
Is that lady who was talking about,
Mm-hmm.
because she had two questions in there.
Okay.
Why do the so-called Hebrews say that Esau is white, but they are descendants of Ham?
Read that. Say that again.
Why do the so-called Hebrews say that Esau is white, but they are the descendants of Ham?
Is you saying that Esau the descendants of Ham?
That sound like saying the
Okay.
Hebrews are descendants of
I don't
Ham.
know which one.
Okay, so, ma'am, who was that answer that question? Miss Whitfield. Before we answer that question, I need you to be specific because I made a mistake a week or so ago, and I'm not going to ever do that again. Before I answer the question, I'm going to make sure I understand what you're asking. So I need to understand, are you saying that Esau is a descendant of Ham, or are you saying that Hebrews are descendants of Ham? So I need you to make that question a little bit more clear so we can answer that properly.
Somebody asked her that. Somebody asked her that.
Somebody asked her that. Was Esau Ham? But
Somebody said, let me read the whole thing. It said that was probably me, but the question that was asked of me today was, why do the so-called Hebrews say that Esau is white, but yet they are descendants of Ham?
who is they?
I don't know.
To me, it sounds like it's saying
Yeah.
that Hebrews are descendants of Ham.
Okay.
That's what it sounds
Yeah,
like.
that's what I need. That's what I need.
When it's saying,
Yeah, Miss Whitfield, that's what we need to know what you're talking about. When you say they are the descendants of Ham, we need to know, are you saying Hebrews are the descendants of Ham or Esau is the descendants of Ham? Because the truth of that, neither one of them are. Okay, the Hebrews are not, or Esau is not. They are from the descendants of Shem. Okay? Right? So, when you got You know, we can just do that quickly. Don't even need the Bible for that. You go. Abraham's come from the line of Shem. You got Abraham had Isaac, right? And Isaac had Jacob and Esau. So that's Jacob, Esau were brothers. Their father was Isaac. Their grandfather was Abraham. Abraham is from the lineage of Shem. He's not from the lineage of Ham. So either Esau or Ham, neither one of those are from Esau, Esau and the Hebrews, because the Hebrew is a language. But you know, you had Abraham was a Hebrew. So you got Hebrew Israelites.
Okay, she's saying that the person was saying that Esau is a descendant of Ham. Well, let me rephrase it different. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If Esau is a descendant of Ham, how are they white?
Well, Esau is not a descendant of Ham. I don't know who told you that, but Esau, or who told that person that. But Esau, father is Isaac. You go to Genesis 25 for that. So I don't know where they got that from. You know, it sounds like that whole stuff with, you know, but we ain't gonna go into that. But you go to Genesis 25 and you'll see that Esau came from Isaac, not from Ham. I don't know where they got that from. All right. So do we got another question that came in there?
Yeah. One question said, if you and your partner are in the truth, how do you court without sinning?
It's simple. I mean, that doesn't. Okay. I mean, that don't. You just don't sin. You just, you know, what I suggest to people do like this right here. Okay. You need to, before a person, just because. Okay. Let me start with here. Okay. Let's go to Sirach 6. Let's go to the scripture on that. Let's go to Sirach 6. Okay. Because we're seeing the same issue for those who are understanding who they are. We're seeing those same issues for people that they were dealing with in the Christian church. You had, when we was in the church, if that person went to church and they called themselves a Christian, you automatically say you was equally yoked. That's not the case, right? So now the people that know that they're not black, they're not African Americans, and people saying, well, we Israel. So now you're saying in the truth, and we tell people all the time, knowing that you Israel is a fact. It's not the truth. A Mashiach is the truth. So unless that person is striving each day to become Hamashiach and are practicing the principles of the gospel according to Hebrews the 6th chapter, right? Matter of fact, let's get that, because that's one of the things that is not being addressed oftentimes when people say they're the truth. So I want to do that first. Let's go to Hebrews 6. Because everybody's saying they're in the truth. Just because you know you're Israel, that don't mean you're in the truth. Okay, I just want to make sure that's clear. And before I say this, I don't even know who asked that question. So ain't nobody say that I don't never ask who asked the question, so I don't even know who asked that. So I want to make sure that's clear. Just knowing that you're an Israelite. And we're going to be dealing with that question in a minute, something similar to that in a minute. Let's go to Hebrews 6. Right? And let's start there at verse 1. Watch this.
Therefore, leaving the principles of of the doctrine of Christ,
right,
let us go until perfection,
mm-hmm.
not laying again the foundation of repentance from dead works and of faith towards God.
So what Paul was talking about to the Hebrews, he was talking to the Israelites back in Jerusalem when he wrote this letter, was, listen, we got to go forward in the things that Hamashiach laid forward. We cannot continue to do the things according to the Mosaic law anymore. Yes, we are keeping the law, but now we must do those things according to the principles Hamashiach did. And I strongly suggest anyone that want to get a true understanding of the law, yes, you need to learn the things that are in Leviticus and Numbers and Exodus and Genesis and Deuteronomy, but a good thing is to go to Matthew the 5th chapter. Me and Deke, we be having this battle with cats all the time when they go to Matthew 5 and 17 to 20, and they don't want to go Matthew 7. They can stop at 19, but they don't want to go through 20 through 48. Because the Hamashiach went more in detail about that law when you get to that point. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, when a person, he says, you have heard that thou shalt not commit adultery. He says, but I say, the one who looks upon a woman in lust has committed adultery in his mind. So you got Israelite crowds out here like, man, I ain't committing adultery, but to sit around and watch Power, sit around and watch Empire, sit around here and watch porn, sit around here and watch all these love and hip-hops and all this stuff. on Instagram all day, lusting after women. According to Hamashiach, you're committing adultery every day. You understand? So you have to be aware of that. Right? And that's just one aspect of it. So Paul said, listen, we can no longer lay in the dead works, but we got to go forward in the faith toward the Most High. Watch this, verse 2.
Of the doctrine of baptism.
If you are with someone who's telling you that getting baptized is nothing like having a bath, then you are with the wrong person. If you're in a camp that's telling you don't need to get baptized.
There's actually his second question is about baptism.
Oh, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that privately. I don't. That's a whole precept, so we want to go through that. I'm glad that's getting brought out. I'm glad the Spirit is bringing it out. If you're dealing with someone that's telling you that you don't need to get baptized, that person's not in the truth. Okay, go ahead.
Of the doctrine of baptism and of laying on hands.
If you're telling people that, yo, man, you can't lay hands and anoint people with oil, you're with the wrong person. Go ahead.
And of resurrection of the dead.
If they sit up and tell you that, man, there ain't no, people ain't gonna come by the grave, there won't be no resurrection, as it was with Christ, that we won't raise and get into telling you about some reincarnation, that I'm David before, and I'm the Jeremiah, and I'm Elijah. All these cats out here talking about, well, I'm the high priest, and I'm this. Yo, you're with the wrong person. Go ahead.
And of eternal judgment.
If they tell you that hell don't exist, they ain't in the truth. Okay? So I wanted to make sure that these are the principles. And look at what Paul said in verse 3.
And this will we do.
And this we will do.
If God permits.
You see that? Okay. So are any of these camps, churches, Israelites, any of these guys out here telling you anything that's on this list that they don't believe in, they ain't in the truth. And the thing clicked a little bit, so let me make sure I said it again. If anybody out here saying that they're not in favor of anything that you see in Hebrews 6, 1 through 2, they are not in the truth. They don't believe these things. So I wanted to make sure that I brought that out. You ain't in the truth if you don't believe those things. Now let's go to Sirach 6. We're talking about this friend stuff. This courting stuff. All right. Let's go this right here. Let's go to verse 7.
If thou
Let's start at verse 6 because I want to bring something out of there.
Be in peace with many.
Right.
Nevertheless, have but one counselor of 1,000.
See, listen, ladies and gentlemen. One of the things mistakes that we are making is this. See what I'm saying? This is one of the things that mistakes that we're making. We're inviting everybody into our lives. Okay, we're inviting every person into our lives. You can't do that. Okay, you can't be sharing your heart and soul with someone just because they got a few precepts down packed, just because they know a couple things, and just because they saying Shalom and all praise to the Most High. Listen, you can't do that. Okay? You can't do that. Right? Go ahead.
Be in peace with many, nevertheless have but one counselor of 1,000.
Go ahead.
If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first.
Read that again.
If thou wouldest get as a friend, prove him first.
Prove him first. And you can't do that in a couple of weeks. You understand? You just can't say, I met him, I met her, we got a lot in common, they're in the truth, I'm in the truth, we both saying Yahuwah, we both saying Ahaya, we both talking about the holy days. Read it again.
If thou wouldst get as a friend, prove him first.
Prove him first, prove her first.
And be not hasty to credit him.
And be not hasty to credit him. Okay? That's one of the things that we're doing. Listen, I understand that it's a lonely world out here, especially for those who's in the truth. It's lonely. We want to be with people. We want to get to know people. We want to fellowship with people. But it's better to spend some time dolo than spend a long time with a bunch of vipers. Okay, go ahead.
For some man is a friend for his own occasion,
right,
and will not abide in the day of thy trouble.
You gotta understand, man. You gotta understand. Sometimes people, man, want people around, man, just because, hey, they're going through something. But they ain't gonna be there for you when you going through. Right? They ain't gonna they there because and I'm gonna tell you, and I know ladies get offended when I say this, but it's the fact. Sometimes when ladies in a low spot, and I know men do this too, but ladies do this more often than men. Right? Ladies could be in a low spot, they might have gained some weight, they might have, not been, working in the career for a while, they might have had a couple kids, and they kind of, in their minds, notice I'm saying in their minds, went down. Then a brother come along, they wait, love on them, say, listen, girl, I don't care what you look like, I don't care, this and that. Hey, that brother encouraged that girl, and that girl, get back on her feet, and she's feeling better about herself, and she's starting to do her hair now, that glow returning back. And now that brother, the same regular brother, he's making 30 stacks a year, he's the same guy, and then all of a sudden he started telling himself, I deserve a little bit better. And be ghost. Right? And it's the same. Now, like I said, that's not, men doing that too, but women be doing it like on a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? And that be happening to brothers. And then now all of a sudden this brother ain't good enough. Well, you should have stepped this game up. Like, that game meant a whole lot for the first 10 years when you was feeding your kids. You know what I'm saying? We was paying your rent. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful. Right? Go ahead.
And will not abide in the day of thy trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a friend who, being turned to enemy, enemy and strife will discover thy reproach.
Mm-hmm. So there's another one that, you know what I'm saying, you got to be careful that when it's all good and you know what I'm saying, everybody's eating, everybody's drinking, it's all good. But then when you tell that person, no, I'm not doing this no more, nah, you can't take advantage of me, or you can't have this, you can't have that, you don't let this person behind the covers, right? And now they're exposing all your dirty laundry. You don't let this man see your body, you sending the pics, and now the pics is on, he mad at you, now they on social media because he upset. You don't let this woman in your life, and you don't let her see your vulnerable spots, the holes in your drawers, and all that. I'm telling you, gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, right? Go ahead.
Again, some friend is a companion at the table,
right,
and will not continue in the day of thy affliction.
I'm telling you what Wayne says. People say they eat with you, but they say they want to leave when they say you out of mustard, bro. So all I say is this. I wanted to put some scriptures on that, but if you have made a decision to get into what you call a court stage, then there needs to be more conversation, less time together. What I mean by that, you need to be having conversations, real conversations about life. Not know how you doing, what chicken sandwich you like better, Popeyes or Chick-fil-A, what you think about love and hip hop, how that power show went down, who you think gonna win, who gonna win the NFL, the Super Bowl this year. There ain't no real conversations. Okay, you need to have real conversations. You need to bust this Bible open, bust this Apocrypha open. You need to sit down and go through the scriptures. You need to pray together. You need to fast together. This is the first 3-4 months, right? And men, don't be out here spending all this money. Listen, I don't care what they're doing in the world. You don't take no girl that has no desire to be with you to no Ruth Chris and no trips. You spending hundreds of dollars. Don't fall for that madness. Because the girl that want to get to know you will go sit, you know what I'm saying? If y'all into that Starbucks junk, I ain't with that. I don't rock with Ishtar, but that's another story for another time. But if y'all into that Ishtar stuff, nuts locking that Starbucks, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? If y'all into that, you go sit down, grab you a little Starbucks, little coffee, little McCafe from McDonald's, you know what I mean? Go to the park, chill. That's a date. You know what I mean? Do regular stuff. If they can't do this regular stuff with you, they ain't into you. Right? And then the more gradually you get to that point, right, you can, you start doing stuff. But this whole thing of spending the night, conversations late in the night where you're talking about other things and putting yourself in vulnerable positions. You got to know yourself. You got to be real. Know yourself. And if a person don't respect that, they don't respect your boundaries, then you already know where they stand. Okay? Now, you got one over there, Jay?
It was just about
Okay, we'll get to that. I want to get some another ones, these ones that I got here. Okay. It says, it may not seem like it. This is another question, y'all. Next question. It may not seem like it. But I be watching your videos. I'm just not there. I'm gonna say that again. It may not seem like it, but I be watching your videos. I'm just not ready to fully give my life to God. When I make that step, I want to be all in and done with everything in the world. Doesn't God respect that I'm honest? Bro, I'm just not that ready. Now this came from one of the kids that I taught when I was in high school. When I taught high school. Saw him at the store the other day. He dropped this on me. I told him to come on. I don't know if he's gonna come on today, but he dropped this on me. And I wanted to bring this out because me and Jay probably hear this statement made to us like 4 or 5 times a week. Okay. Right? And I'm gonna tell you the same thing that I told him. And let me say this before I say this because I don't want to be misunderstood. Listen. Nobody heard the gospel and just changed their life overnight. Okay, so you didn't get to that point that you are overnight, and you're not going to get out of it overnight. Okay, so let me put that out there. Let me not be, reckless and act as if that's going to happen like that. It's not going to happen, right? Okay, so you're not going to change overnight. But this is what I told you. When you wake up in the morning, are you ready to be able to get out of bed on your own? Right? Don't you enjoy to be able to drink water and eat food whenever you're ready? Don't you enjoy the fact that whenever you need to take a breath of air, that you ain't got to, ask nobody? Your lungs gonna breathe in and out. Don't you like the fact that your blood can pump throughout your body whenever you're ready? We take the Most High for granted by making statements like, I'm just not ready. When the truth of the matter is, you just want to continue to sin. Okay. There's a difference between learning and getting stuff together versus I know better and then I just want to continue to sin. That's not the same thing. Right? So we're going to deal with it from that perspective because that's the way the question was asked. And I want to make sure I address that from that perspective, just in case there are some people that still talking that way and believe in that way. Right? It's crazy. Okay. Let's go to Sirach. Let's go to Sirach 32. Oh, that's next one. I need to go here first. That's the next one. Let's go to Sirach 32 and 17.
A sinful man.
Who?
A sinful man.
Right.
Will not be reproved,
Mm-hmm.
but finding an excuse according to his will.
You got to understand, ladies and gentlemen. Notice, that's why I went there and said a sinful man. Not a man that just, a man or a woman that just learning their way. You're finding out stuff, and then you're changing as you go. I'm talking about a sinful man who finds out, like, yo, man, I can't eat pork no more. Man, who find out, yo, man, Friday, sundown, to Saturday, sundown, to Sabbath. Man, I used to go to the club that night. Oh, you talking about, man, yo, you can't be fornicating and all that. I'm talking about those guys who's saying, I know that I'm supposed to be doing these things, but I want to keep making excuses about me not being ready, when the truth of the matter is, you don't want to be corrected. Read it again.
A sinful man.
A sinful man.
Will not be reproved.
Reprove means corrected.
But finding an excuse.
Man, people be hating on me, man.
But finding an excuse.
Man, I'm saying, man, I just don't like the way you saying it to me, man.
But finding an excuse.
Man, it seems like you always judging me, man.
But finding an excuse.
Man, I remember back in the day you used to be doing that, man.
But finding an excuse.
Man, there's all these other people out here doing worse than me, man.
But finding an excuse.
But what about what the white man doing, man?
But finding an excuse according to his will.
According to his will. Those things that I just said, you think I'm being funny, but that's what we hear all the time. Excuses for why you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Right? Now, to those who think that you got all the time in the world, let's go to Sirach 5. And see, give me those scriptures that we did on baptism that time. You should be able to go to one of the old lessons that we did on baptism. I'm trying to think which one it was. I can look them up right quick, but I didn't know. I got them in my head. Let's go to Sirach 5 and soon start at verse 2.
Follow not thy own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart.
You got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, many of you have made up in your mind thinking that I'm going to do this my way. This is the best way for me. Shalom, Princess Ty, still seeing you on with us tonight. Read that again for him, Soup. He says what?
Follow not thy own mind.
Follow not thy own mind
and thy strength.
And thy strength.
To walk in the ways of thy heart.
Right, go ahead.
And say not, who shall control me for my works?
You see that? One of the problems that, and I need to talk about men, because you don't hear this a lot with dealing with women, but you hear this a lot with men. Many of these men are so prideful and arrogant. Ain't no man gonna tell me nothing. I got this. I do what I feel. Go ahead.
And say not, who shall control me for my works? For the Lord will surely revenge thy pride.
You see that? Listen, I don't understand. Matter of fact, so let me get that 1 Thessalonians 4:8. Because I have to remind people this all the time. That when the Most High gives me something, a lot of times, listen, I could be out at the barber shop, I could be out at the store, it could be on these Q&As. And listen, what we bring out sometimes, people feel like you knowing me or you calling me out. Nine times out of 10, I don't even know you. It's just the Spirit is telling me what to say. So, if you have a problem with what is being said, ladies and gentlemen, you need to stop seeing our faces. And you need to understand who you have a problem with. 1 Thessalonians 4:8.
He therefore that despiseth not man.
You don't despise us, man. You despise who?
But God.
You despise the Most High. Because we only telling you what He say. See, this is one of the dangers of Christianity, man. It's one of the dangers of that Christianity don't judge me stuff, man. Great stuff, man. That you think that when your brother or sister come to you with this, you always talking about you making it into a man. No, look, anything that's been, somebody's opened the Bible. Now, we know that there's some people, that's what I was talking about today, how people can use the Bible to judge others, not judge themselves. But my whole thing is this. If a homeless man telling you, giving you financial advice on not to be homeless, if a drunkard is telling you advice on not to drink and become an alcoholic, if a whoremonger that done got sexually transmitted diseases is telling you not to fornicate and walk in celibacy, are you going to look at the person and say, you can't judge me? Or are you going to look at them and say, listen, I don't want to end up like that person? You understand? How dare a homeless man tell me anything about money? Because he knows. You understand? So y'all gotta stop getting caught up in the messenger and receive the message. Right? Back to Sirach. Verse 4.
Say not, I have sinned, and what harm have happened unto me?
Mm-hmm.
For the Lord is long-suffering.
Mm-hmm.
He will in no wise let thee go.
See, the thing that's going on, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are in the grace. Right? We are in the grace. And because the Most High ain't done use somebody to bust ships out of the head with a stone, You out here just doing in and everything, going on social media, bragging about it. Boy, I stayed last weekend, boy, I cut about 4 girls, bro. I got the video and everything, bro. You bragging about it. But you don't even know that you're boasting about your own demise. So just because the Most High has been long-suffering and patient, hoping, because 2 Peter 3:9 says that the Most High is long-suffering, he wishing none of his children will perish. But, verse 5,
concerning propitiation, be not without fear to add sin unto sin.
right?
And say not, his mercy is great, he will be pacified for the multitude of my sins.
Right.
For mercy and wrath.
For what?
For mercy and wrath
For mercy and wrath,
come from him.
right?
And his indignation rests upon
You
sinners.
see that? You got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that a lot of us didn't get wiped out. It's because of two people. Hamashiach, according to Romans 8:34, making intercession for you and I, and the parents and the pastors and the people that's in our communities who was praying for us. Other than that, hey, that indignation is waiting upon. He's looking for it. Right? Go ahead. Verse 7.
Make no tarry to turn to the Lord.
So I'm telling all my brothers and sisters out there today, the ones who come across this video, make no tarry to turn to the Most High. Go ahead.
And put not off from day to day, for suddenly
For when?
For suddenly
For when?
For suddenly
Mhm.
shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security
And in that security,
thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of
you
vengeance.
see that? Now, and for a second time, you can check out Romans, the first chapter, verse 28 through 32. And that will tell you how, for those who despise the Most High's word, they will turn you over to a reprobated mind, and you won't change. So some of you on the verge, you like two steps away from a reprobated mind. All these people that you see out here wilding on these reality shows and these gay pride parades and all these world star hip hop videos and all that, these guys are gone. And y'all guys are making these guys your heroes. They gone. And some of you, if you don't be careful, you're gonna be gone with them. There ain't no turning back from it, man. You're gonna find this suddenly, this accident all of a sudden. Man, drug overdose all of a sudden. Nah, it's took out because they wanted to change. It's too late. Be careful. In the words of my uncle. Be careful. We got one over there. I'm gonna sell it. I can take care of that offline. We got some good questions. If we got any more that came in there, and I don't want to miss these right here. Okay, this is a good one right here. Go ahead.
Well, it wasn't. It just said when it comes to baptism, how do the Hebrews baptize? Matthew 28 and 19, or Acts 2 and 38.
That's the same way. That's the same way. It ain't no different. And in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. It's the same way. Christ told them to do it, and on the Acts the 2nd chapter, when the day of the Feast of First Fruits, when the Israelites began to repent and receive Christ, that was the way they baptized. So it's the same way, no different. Now, this is a good one right here. It says, I don't mean to offend you when I say this, but I have no desire to become an Israelite. Becoming a Christian is the best thing to ever happen to me. My pastor teaches the Bible and has never promoted commercialism, the commercialism and vanity of the holidays. Jesus is everything to me, and I can't understand how Israelites can preach that if people don't follow their religion, we can't go to heaven. What about all of the people that lived and died and never were told about this religion? I'm going to read that question again. It says this, I don't mean to offend you when I say this, but I have no desire to become an Israelite. Now, let me start with that. This is one of the misconceptions of this awakening. Ladies and gentlemen, there are there are countless ways that you can become a Jew. Right? Okay. You could have been born in the land of Judea during biblical times. Any citizen of Judea was been called a Jew. Right? Or in today's time, modern times, I would say, you can go to the Jewish people and go through some type of procedure that they take you through. I think it's like a year-long process, 3 years, something like that process, where you devote your life to their culture and whatever the case may be, and then starts practicing the religion of Judaism, and then you will become what they call a Jew. Okay, so this is why when Israelites bring the truth out, who the real Israelites are, this is why the rabbis will do that bait and switch conversation by saying, yo, there's Jews of many colors. Okay, this is why they like to bring up the Hamites of Ethiopia. That's what they do. You know, they're crafty counsel, right? Okay, so there's countless ways of becoming a Jew. But ladies and gentlemen, you cannot become an Israelite. You're born an Israelite. And it doesn't make a difference for all my Christian brothers and sisters. You can never keep the law. You can never keep a holy day. You can never return to the Sabbath. Regardless of what you say or what you don't confess or live. When you were born to the day that you die, you are an Israelite. You have the blood of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in your veins. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can deny it all you want to. You cannot believe it. You can say whatever you want to. You can't get away from this. This is your identity and it's your heritage. Okay? So that's the confusion when it comes to that. When it's talking about becoming an Israelite. You don't become an Israelite. Either you are one or you ain't. Okay? So if you're a so-called black, so-called African American, if you are a so-called Mexican, a so-called Puerto Rican, so-called Cuban, or so-called people from the Bahamas, pray for our Benjamite brothers over there, so-called people from Trinidad, the people of Central America, our people down in South America, the people west and south and central parts of Africa, and scattered all over the South Seas and the Aboriginal region of Australia. You Native Americans, you are the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? You can attack the 12 tribes chart. You can attack who Esau, who ain't. It doesn't make a difference. And when you stand before the Most High, you will be judged as an Israelite. And we're going to go into those verses. You will either be judged as an Israelite or you will be rewarded as an Israelite. It's your choice. Now, the second part of that was, she says that my pastor teaches the Bible and has never promoted the commercialism and vanity of holidays. That's fantastic. I love to hear that. But regardless of that, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter are not days to celebrate the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So you cannot believe in Santa Claus. That's fantastic. I heard some pastor say that, we still celebrate Christmas, but we sanctify it. You can't have the ability to sanctify anything. Okay? Okay. People will go from calling it Easter because they know Easter is pagan and then start calling it Resurrection Sunday. I'm sorry. He didn't resurrect on a Sunday. Well, the days might be all, but still, no. Okay. Okay. And Thanksgiving. How is something that started in the 1600s got anything to do with the Most High? I can entertain the conversation with Christmas and Easter. But Thanksgiving, you might as well bring Groundhog Day and Christopher Columbus Day to me, telling me that's serving the Most High too. It's madness. Okay? We don't have the right to go and tell the Most High how we're going to serve him. Right? And she says, Jesus is my everything, and I can't understand how Israelites can preach that the people don't follow their religion. We are not following a religion. You are. And that's what our Christian brothers and sisters don't want to accept. When our fathers and our mothers was in the nation of Israel, they was keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. They was keeping the Sabbath and the holy days. And it wasn't a religion. It was a lifestyle. It was a culture. We taught the world how to follow the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And off of that, the Gentiles, when they formed different religions based on that. All of the religions of the world go back to one place. Babylon. The Tower of Babel. So you can call it Christianity, Islam, Confucianism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Shintoism. You can call it whatever it ism you want to. You're the ones to celebrate. You're the one that's following the religion. We are returning to our culture. This ain't a religion to us. This is who we are. You understand? Now, the person made the statement that says, what about the people that lived and died and never were told about what she called a religion? Let's go to Romans, the 2nd chapter. Let's address that. Let's go to Romans, the 2nd chapter. All right. And let's start there at verse 11.
For there is no respect of persons with God.
Right?
For as many as have sinned without law shall also perish without law.
Right.
And as many as have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law.
So it doesn't make a difference. Okay. The Most High has no respect of person. People were sinning with the law, and they were sinning without it. Okay? So watch what Paul breaks down here. Verse 13.
For not the hearers of the law are just before God.
Read that again.
For not the hearers of the law are just before God.
Right? But who are?
But the doers of the law shall be justified.
But who?
But the doers of the law shall be justified.
But who?
But the doers of the law shall be justified.
I thought Paul said we didn't have to do the law.
But the doers of the law shall be justified.
Watch this. Verse 14.
For when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law,
right?
These having not the law are a law unto themselves.
You see that? So, addressing the people who was never taught that they were not black, they were not African Americans. Our people, back in the day, weren't doing the madness that they're doing in the Christian church today. You didn't have women going around and men going around fornicating and being homosexuals and liars and thieves and hustlers and pimps and going to church on Sunday. Now, there were some that were doing that, but it sure wasn't going to church on Sunday. They were teaching the law. They was following in the church, but they didn't know who they were. And because they lived that lifestyle, as well as for the Gentiles, who wasn't doing all of this madness, but were following their conscience. Because when you go over to the 1st chapter of Romans, matter of fact, let's go over there so they can see that. Watch this. Give them Romans 1, verse 20. Watch this.
For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen,
right,
being understood by the things that are made,
right,
even his internal power and Godhead,
right,
so that they are without excuse.
You see that? So listen, man. No. The Most High gave us the ability to understand. He put a male horse with a female horse so that you can know. Nobody can have an excuse like, man, I thought two men could be together. He did that from creation. There ain't no excuse. When he made Adam, he made Eve. He didn't make Steve. So there was no excuse. He didn't put a bunch of women out there and tell Adam, now go and sow your royal oats and find which one you wanted. From creation, the Most High put these things out there to show who he was and how you're supposed to live. This is why everybody has a conscience. So you had Gentiles that was never given the law, that was still following the conscience and following what was right. And the Most High judged them on that. So this is the thing to go for our brothers and sisters who died, our ancestors who died before this awakening took place. If they were living what was right and doing what was thus is right for the best of their abilities, they will be judged on that. Watch this. Verse 15.
Which show the work of the law written in their
You
hearts.
see that?
Their conscience also bearing witness,
Mhm.
and their thoughts the meanwhile accusing or else excusing one another.
You see that? So the Most High writ the conscience on us who we were from the beginning. He just chose the nation of Israel to be a living example. But everybody was given a conscience. And if you be honest, everybody, when they was coming up, you had that feeling inside you saying, I shouldn't do that. Sometimes you override it, sometimes you didn't. But it was always something that was telling us what we should do and what we shouldn't do. So that's not an excuse. Now let's give Acts 17 and 30.
In the times of this ignorance, God winked at it.
So my brothers and sisters in the Christian church, for all of us that was in the Christian church, the Most High winked at our ignorance. He winked at us not knowing who we are. But now what?
But now commanded all men everywhere to repent.
You must repent. Period. So you don't get to say, I can do this on the basis I want to and just continue on. And for those who think, well, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Now, for you guys, let's go to James 4, and then we're going to go to Hebrews 10. Yeah, I understand, man. You know, that's cool, but, you know, this has been working for me. And, you know, my family, my church, this is what we're going to do. And I know Jesus is going to accept it. He might. But I can guarantee you, for a fact, Hamashiach will not. The Most High will not. That Jesus of Christianity, he's a very open guy. He's open to anything. He's with whatever. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I'm just saying the truth of the matter is that guy's open to anything. But you better get to know Hamashiach of the Bible. He's not so understanding. Okay. Just want to put that out there. Right? Well, I said James 4 and 17.
Therefore, to him that knoweth to do good,
So them that know to do good
and do it not,
and don't do it,
to him it is sin.
to him it is sin. So when you hear the truth of who you are, when you hear the truth that we must keep the holy days, when you hear the truth that we must return to the Sabbath, when you hear the truth that you're not a black person, you're not an African American, you're not Mexican, you're not Puerto Rican, you're not none of that, you're not a Christian, okay? And let me say this too, because like I said, when the person that gave the question said that becoming a Christian was the best thing that ever happened to me, and I'm going to tell you the truth, the guidance and the truth. Back in 2003, when I received Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, I said the same exact thing. Becoming a Christian saved my life because I was a wretch undone. I was wicked and evil. And I got saved in a Baptist church, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And those people in that church loved on me. I was full of sin. I was ignorant. I was wilding, prideful, a whoremonger, a drunkard, smoking weed, doing whatever. Okay, let me put that out there. So at that time, you best believe being a Christian was the best thing that ever happened to me. But I'm going to tell you something, well, even more better, when I found out who I really was. Let's go to Hebrews 10. So if all you think that you can just continue on and just because you think this is working for you, Hebrews 10:26.
For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin.
They said, what is sin? See, that's another problem. In the Christian church, there's no definition for what sin is. Depending on what church you go to, what denomination you're a part of, what your who your pastor is, everybody got a different definition of what sin is. But there's only one biblical definition of what sin is. So give them that definition.
1 John 3:4.
Bring it out.
Whosoever committed sin transgresses also the law.
Right?
For sin is the transgression of the law.
Now, sin is the transgression of the church covenant.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
No, sin is the transgression of the Baptist doctrine.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
No, sin is the transgression of the Methodist doctrine.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
No, sin is the transgression of the Pursuit of Happiness, Rick Warren book.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
No, sin is the transgression of what your boy Joel Osteen put out.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
Sin is the transgression of the law of the Most High God. So it's clear. There ain't nowhere around that. Back to Hebrews 10. Okay.
For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin.
So that you can't. Grace is not going to cover that. Go ahead.
But a certain fearful look for of judgment.
Looking. Read that again.
But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation indignation which shall devour the adversaries.
That's what's coming. It ain't gonna be grace. That's what you can count on is coming. Go ahead.
He that despised Moses' law died without the mercies under 2 or 3 witnesses.
So during the time when we was under the law, you broke it, you died. 2 or 3 witnesses could prove that you did it, you died. You stoned to death. Go ahead.
Of how much sore punishment suppose ye shall he be taught worthy, who have trodden under foot the Son of God, and have counted the blood of the covenant wherewith he was sanctified an unholy thing, and have done despise unto the Spirit of grace.
So what he's saying is for those who didn't do it, and you had grace to get it time to get it right, it's gonna be worse. Grace, ladies and gentlemen, is not a license to sin. It's an opportunity to turn your life around from sin. And for those who continue to break the Most High's law, when you had grace to get it right, stoning is the least of your words. So, I think that's a good note to end on right there. What y'all think? Do we have anything over there? All right. Now, so, we got some more questions, but we'll get to those things next week. Tonight, we'd like to give all glory and honor and praise to Ahaya Bahashem Yeshaya Rorowak for everything that came forth from today. We pray and hope that this was edifying unto you. We pray and hope that you will share this information with your brothers and sisters. And we want you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that the Most High love you. If you truly give yourself an opportunity to choose Him and walk with Him and love Him, you can have a life that you could never, ever, ever imagine. Never, ever imagine. He's waiting for you. Transformation Tuesdays, ladies and gentlemen, is not to point fingers. It's not to judge. It's for all of us to transform into the image of the greatest Israelite who ever lived, Yeshaya, the Hamashiach. We just want to say that we love you. We give our glory and honor to Ahaya Bahashem Yeshaya where we walk.
Give it time to get it right.
And we pray and hope that you guys will continue to be with us and stand with us. We love you, man, and we're here for you. Anybody desire any more clarification? We're here for you. We look forward to seeing you guys this weekend in High Point, North Carolina for the Bible in Black Conference. For those who desire to come out to that conference, hit me up, give me a call, or shoot me an inbox or email, whatever the case may be. And we'll try to get you registered, but I'm telling you, we run out of seats, man. Last time we was well over 500. The place holds 600. I'm telling you right now, You need the places to be in High Point, North Carolina, Friday, Saturday, and we're going to be in Greensboro on Sunday for the Bible and Black Conference. So anybody that desire the information, let us know, man. Like we always say, man, continue to be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding to the work of the Most High God. We love you.
Rest of my life.
Shalom.
Rest of my life. Rest of my forever. Yeah. This is my job for the rest of my life. The rest of my life. This is the job for the rest of my life. The rest of my life. This is my job for the rest of my life. The rest of my life. This is the job for the rest of my life. Telling the truth. Rest of my life. Love it the most. All of my life. Rest of my life. Rest of my life. Rest of my life. Yeah. I'm standing my ground. The truth is the weapon. Please don't next me. They shunning the message and killing the messenger. All over words. It must be the truth that I'm telling. These devils offended. You call it they trash. Don't buy other shit that they selling. They label you bad. Got no religion. The flags know what they hide. Know that my home ain't where I reside. Hey, who am I kid? I'm speaking to ears. They never do listen. You gotta be talking them digits. Helping the children. Principal mission.
I am a pediatrician.
I'm done with this story. Get it, this story. Brother, I'm doing my story. Cause we are the people. I'd rather be better, never the equal. The feelings is mutual. Ain't speaking no evil. Examine your leaders. Not doing religion. I'm open with politics. Calling me so controversial. They say I'm too raw, but spit is so eloquent. Like I'm spitting in curses. The business is personal. Won't charge you for food. Won't do it in church. I do it in nurse. I do it on the top. And wait on my number. Forever I'm humble. I live with my shame.
Let me die with some honor. Shalom.
This is my job for